Assalamu alaikum, rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. I'm here with Naima. Nice to see you in person.
Nice to see you too.
Not via screen. So, as we know that when women go through a divorce, very often the majority of the financial burden and responsibility fell on the shoulders of the husband.
Right.
And she finds herself in a state of just being lost, how to navigate finances. Are you able to offer us a few tips to women out there how we can make this a more doable process?
Right. So I think in the case of divorce where the woman wasn't providing or contributing financially to the household, she now has to kind of take on that mental load of what do I do now and how do I support myself. So for somebody that is anticipating divorce or they are thinking about getting divorced, one thing that they should do is spiritually make dua and do things that increase barakah in their household. So a lot of times people are looking for money, but if your barakah is increased, then you'll need less of it, right? And so like making dua, saying Bismillah, before eating, not wasting, all of those things increase barakah. So that's one tip. Think about things from a spiritual perspective. Another thing is to save. Maybe normally you eat out twice a week. It would be good to maybe eat out once a week or not eat out at all and learn how to make meals. You'll be surprised at how many people don't actually know how to cook. Right. And so that simple skill of just learning how to cook, you're not making more money per se, but you're learning a skill that can save you money because you're not spending it for somebody else to do that thing.
Right. For example, people buy canned food.
Right.
And like a can of beans, but if you buy like the dry chickpeas, the dry lentils, dry
Absolutely.
beans, and you have so much more for a very cheap price.
Right. Yeah. So again, none of this is bringing in income yet, right? We're still using what we have. Another thing is to save. I spoke about saving like in terms of what you normally spend, but this is like actually taking some of your money and putting it away before you spend on other things. So let's just, to make it easy, you have $100 and normally you spend that $100 on whatever you spend it on. Before you spend that $100, take out $10 and put $10 to the side so that you're actively and intentionally saving. And so you're creating like a safety net and you're learning how to manage your own finances, which you might not have had to do before. So you're picking up another skill. Another thing is to decide what you're good at. What am I good at? And how can I monetize that? Or how can I create a career for myself around that? So for example, somebody that's very crafty, they might create an Etsy page and start selling their page. What they used to do as a hobby or what they used to do for pleasure, now they find that actually this is something that I can make money from, and people are interested in having those things because they're handmade, they're artisanal, or they're unique, whatever the reason is. And so just to recap, we spoke about spirituality, praying and doing things that increase barakah, or they increase the blessings in what we already have. We spoke about taking away some of the things that we used to do and finding a way to not do it so that we can save money, like eating out, or for not just eating out, sometimes entertainment, the way we entertain ourselves.
Or even just going to buy a coffee every day.
Right, exactly.
Yeah,
so
rather make coffee at home.
Right, it adds up. So those things add up. Then we spoke about learning a new skill. So for example, learning how to cook, or maybe you know how to cook, so you don't need to do that, but maybe you learn how to change your own oil in your car, and that can save you, right? And I saw you cringe for a second, but the reality is that when we become unpartnered and we get divorced, there's so many tasks that we might have relegated to somebody else that we have to now take on for ourselves. And those are things to think about, like changing your oil. Yes, you can pay somebody to do it, but you can also learn, and it'll save you money. And then the fourth thing we spoke about is saving, like actively saving before you actually spend. So learning how to live on less. And a lot of times it doesn't have to be forever, but just learning how to do those things can help so much in your transition from being married to divorced.
And the last thing you said was monetizing your
And monetizing your what
interest
you're good
or
at,
passion or
whatever you're good at. And it doesn't, you might not have, there are so many skills that we have that we don't think are skills. We just think, oh, this is how I live. And an example of that is somebody that really likes tea. They really like to drink tea, and they make their own tea blends because that's what they like. But they might find that this can be an avenue where they can make money, where they now wholesale their spices and their herbs, and they make their own tea blends, and they start participating in a farmer's market and making money that way. So yeah, I hope those 5 tips will help people with the transition process, because I think that finances is one of the biggest burdens that women take on when they go from being married to divorced.
Thank you.
You're very welcome.
Assalamu alaikum. Okay.